Stop avoiding the fear. The other night I was driving home and I came up on a ramp. Years ago, my sister and I were hit by an 18-wheeler on a ramp because we didn't yield properly. I remember that moment so clearly. I wasn't thinking about the car. I wasn't thinking about anything except, Lord, please let us live. After that accident, I avoided ramps wherever I could. I didn't care if it took me 10 or 15 minutes longer to get home, as long as I didn't have to face that ramp. I would take the long way. But the other night, God showed me something. Sometimes we take the long way in life because we're avoiding what hurt us. It reminded me of Jonah when God told Jonah to go to Nineveh. Jonah didn't want to obey. Instead, he went in the opposite direction. He took the long way. But avoiding God's instruction didn't erase God's purpose. It only delayed it. And I wonder how many of us are doing the same thing. We're taking the long way around healing, the long way around purpose, the long way around healthy relationships, the long way around the very thing we've been praying for. Maybe you're praying for a husband or a wife, but every time someone gets close, you pull away because you're afraid history is going to repeat itself. Maybe you've been hurt before, betrayed before, or disappointed before. So now you've convinced yourself that avoiding relationships is safer, but fear isn't always wisdom. Sometimes fear is what keeps us stuck. That night, instead of turning around, I stayed on the route. I slowed down. I looked carefully. I yielded, and then I went. And you know what happened? Nothing. God reminded me that wisdom and fear are not the same thing. Wisdom says use discernment, pay attention, move carefully. Fear says don't ever try again. Those are two completely different voices. If you've done the work, if you've healed, if you've prayed and you're allowing God to lead you, don't let fear convince you to keep taking the long way around. Can't receive what God has for you if you're constantly running from the path that leads to it. Stop avoiding the fear. Face it with God, because sometimes the healing you've been praying for is waiting on the other side of the very thing you've been avoiding. Remember, courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you trust God enough to move forward anyway. Don't let fear keep you stagnant. God is with you this time. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day or night wherever you are in the world, okay? And remember that God loves you and I do too.